Well, when I was at Howard University in the 1960s, a lot of the students from West Africa used to call me Mr. Quando. All the time, call me Mr. Quando. And I didn't appreciate the significance of what they were saying, and they didn't necessarily dwell on it. And then later, as I became a little older, I came to realize that the name has the same name and related spellings and pronunciations were known in West Africa, particularly in Ghana, and particularly among the Ghanaian Fanti people. And some of the people were beginning to tell me that, well, really the name is Amquando. And they spelled it Amkwdoh. And as we looked at it, we came to realize, since our name was Quando, that when you slowed it down, Amquando, a little bit became I am Quando. Well, he was born in apparently 1843 in Fairfax County, Virginia. And he was a direct descendant, grandson of Nancy Quander and Charles Quander. And Nancy Quander was Nancy Carter Quander, freed by General President George Washington. And this descendant, John Pearson Quander, signed up as a volunteer on his actual 18th birthday in 1863. Don't know the exact date. And he fought and served and mustered out in 1865. But he was well respected because he achieved the position of corporal. And he was also the flag bearer guidon in a number of battles. And he's lucky that he wasn't shot down or killed. And then after the war, he migrated into and stayed inside of Washington, D.C. And he married a woman named Hannah Bruce Ford. When more and more African Americans began to come into the city after the Civil War, there was no place for many of them to take up lodging. And they started finding places that were called alleys, and tents were popping up in various places. And one of those places was right by the United States Navy Yard. And it had been there for a number of years, don't know how many. And they took up residency and just established themselves right in there on the edge of the Navy Yard. The street didn't have a name, although it was on the maps. Then about 1890, a name started and appeared on the street, and it was Quander Alley. Some records call it Quander Place, some call it Quander Street. And it existed until 1943. Then during World War II, when they expanded the Washington Navy Yard, they took the street out of existence to construct the Navy map-making cartographic center. Well, that building has come down, and the Quander family, through the Quander Historical Society, presented a petition to the City Council to restore our name back to a street in the District of Columbia, and the council has done so. Well, virtually no streets in the District of Columbia were named after African Americans at that early time. So it's important to recognize us as an integral part of family history, because there are 4 Quander streets with this one, 2 in Virginia, 1 in Maryland, and now this one coming back in the District of Columbia. Well, I think it's very important to realize that we are not the only African American family with a stellar history. We have been inspired by what others have done, and we have sought to inspire each other to realize that what might have been considered a stumbling block, we've learned to try to use it as a stepping stone. And we've also done a bit to try to remember that we are bridge builders. We came from something. Family members have come and brought us this legacy. And now we have the responsibility of taking the legacy, honoring the legacy, and passing it on to leave us in a better stead, maybe to be inspirational not only to family members, but to other people, to make it better than it was when we found it.